I was wondering why I couldn't hear war. Good morning. We're starting the fuck over. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I'm a minute late this morning. I fat fingered the go live button on TikTok, and then so that took an extra, and then I fat fingered the go live button here, and I forgot to plug my fucking microphone in. There's no wonder I couldn't hear the fucking music. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. So you'll notice lately. I've been saying like I don't like it um when people make content where they say people keep asking me. It's because people aren't communicating. What the fuck are we talking about? Um, but yeah, a lot of people are coming around. I'm seeing past content that I made on topics. I'm seeing those views. And the remember something to remember, you are in a daily live show, right? So every day when we go live, I don't have stories that I already picked that are not relevant anymore, that we're gonna do a long form piece. We're not doing that, right? We're looking at the most up to date news that we can. That's what's great about being here every day is that every day as stories develop, people are going to continue to write articles, right? But one of the things this show does a little different. For example, no ads. I don't ask for money. I also don't force you to listen to music that you didn't pick. Um, so the show has an opening song, War, um, by Edwin Starr. Instead of making you listen to it, I just put the link in the chat. You want to go listen to that later? Save that. Okay. I'm listening to it as I open a show, okay? Just so you get it, right? So instead of me sitting behind a graphic twiddling my fucking thumbs, so happy Sunday morning here, Memorial Day weekend. And again, like I said, I made a piece of content, but I didn't post it. I didn't have time, okay? So we're gonna address up front, what should we be doing, man? Right? If this budget bill passes, we're in a world of hurt, right? So what we need to be doing is contacting our senators. The easiest way to do that is with the Five Calls app. So go on your app store, your Play Store, download your Five Calls app. It's Senator time. Okay. By the way, before that bill making it out of the House, we were calling our reps, right? I was talking about it pretty consistently where I was saying download the Five Calls app. I If you think what is happening with this regime is even remotely close to what happened in the prior, I have major questions. See what will ultimately prevail is public good. Okay. So this is the thing that always bothers me. Did you notice that we aren't communicating you developed a contention with me? This isn't even a conversation. You compared what this regime is doing to what Joe Biden accomplished as president. And then when I say, like, I have major questions, your reply is, you would. Yes. Yes. I heavily question. Anyone still same siding shit, okay? Or supporting this regime in any way, okay? I can't I can't get beside the both sidesing. I can't get beside still supporting them. Okay. So there's a growing contingency of people that are like, what do we do? Okay. And there's several ways to do it. Okay. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area, consider the May Day movement. Okay. Daily protest. Okay. Many people have said we will not get anything done until there's this daily protest in Washington, D.C., where it all happens. Burp. And their May Day movement. Okay. Beyond that, there have been people that have said, "Well, I don't live in Washington, D.C. What's the next step?" I've coined it the Great Tech Rebellion. My thought process is to delete Facebook threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, and try to use Amazon like you normally use Amazon less. And what I'm saying is, you know what would be better than just ordering your shit on Amazon is a couple more clicks and buying it from the producer for probably less and saving yourself money, and it would probably get there faster too. The reason that people sell on Amazon is to streamline sales, not because it's cheaper. It costs, okay? Costs much more to do business than Amazon does to do your own business. I own my own business. I'd sold coffee and shipped it. Yeah, my own coffee for years. Somebody asked me about how do I feel about crypto. Somebody said the everything is an illusion, a distraction. The real story is in Africa. No, I think the real story is here in the United States where we're dangerously close to shutting off social safety nets that could put 50 million people in risk of starvation and death. Okay, yeah, 68 million people as of April 2025 were enrolled in Medicare. So 70. So it's basically one out of every five people is in Medicare. Medicaid and CHIP was combined enrolled 78 million, almost 80. So that's about one out of every four. And yes, Marine Corps, infantry, you're welcome. So when you think about 68 million, 78 million people that rely on these programs, notice, understand there's a bunch of overlap. So there's a reason the numbers aren't like squared up, okay? But SNAP serves 42.1 million people per month. So you can't add those numbers together. That's not how many people it impacts, okay? There's a lot of overlap between Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. I worked in that industry for years, and many people have all three. Okay. And one of the things that I found that is super troubling in the Medicare field is the rate of disinformation as it refers to how Medicare works. One of the things that I found um, that I was doing in that field was educating people on their costs and them being in fucking denial about the lapses in their healthcare coverage and what they were going to be liable for. One of the things that people don't realize is that dental work does not equal healthcare in the United States. Those are separate things. And my mom cleaned teeth when I was a little fucking kid, and as an adult, I really gotta tell you, part of what drives people fucking crazy is like they work all the time and they feel like they never have time to do shit, and all the while your body's breaking down. And your teeth are like the first to go. And you don't have money, you can't do anything about it. So what do you do when you're young? You just yank them motherfuckers out, right? Well, here you are, like 40 years old, and I got 8 teeth on the bottom, right? Fortunately, in all of my situation, my teeth break because I have weak enamel because of my parents growing up on fucking shitty water, okay? And their parents too. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, look around," and it's like, "Nope, nope." You know what I see? I see 50 million people in the United States. Like one out of every seven people is in danger of dying, of literally losing their health care, losing their stipend for food. The people that have Medicare and Medicaid in the United States aren't freeloaders. These systems, the one thing that I hate about these systems in place in the United States is how complex they are and how much overlap there is. For example, if you have Medicare and Medicaid, this is how broken we are. Let's say you have Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. Okay. Well, I talk to people that they get a couple $100 a month from their healthcare program for groceries, and they also get a couple $100 a month for SNAP. And then so I ask them, put that money aside, okay? What's it really costs to eat out here, right? Because I'm not talking about what you're able to do with your benefits. I'm talking about what are you actually paying for food. And they say the poorest among us say I spend more money outside of my SNAP and my healthcare benefit allows for food. So what this means is whatever you think your food costs are, fucking double those when you're poor, because those benefits they don't solve everything, right? So here's the problem. And maybe I haven't said it before, so it doesn't set the tone for how I feel about. They want you to be poor so you can't buy guns. Even though there's a lot of guns in the United States, the guns are concentrated into a few hands. Everybody doesn't have a firearm in the United States, and they want to keep it that way. They don't want you rising up. That's it. Like, have you ever wondered, like, for what reason would you want all Americans to be poor and only a few people to have money to keep you from rising up? Hmm. There's a reason. One of the reasons that I tell people um, that violence is not the answer is because we, the people, are woefully outgunned. And the people that are on the other side, they will double cross. And so they'll act as an ally when they really don't have your best interest, right? So if you wondered why people are fleeing the United States, and I'd say the people that study, yeah, even score. So 2A was made when there were only muskets and cannons, exactly. Hmm. Hmm. That was one of the questions the Popo asked when they came to my house, was if I had pew-pews. You need to protect yourself. And I was like, from me? Like I need to protect me from me? I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. I want everyone to be smarter and not have to pay for that. I want you to have a roof over your head and not have to pay out of your ass for that. You know what fucking sucks? People give me their address and tell me how much they pay in rent, and I Google their fucking address and they live in a goddamn hut. And I'm like, 1,400 a month for that? And they're like, yeah, it's the best I could find. And I'm like, you're getting absolutely hosed on where you live and how much you pay. And understand, I'm not saying I live in a palace. I'm trying to look after other people. It's not because I don't care about them. Okay? But I talk to people all the time. Why am I talking to you? Oh, I have $50,000 in medical bills and my wife left me. Why? Because we couldn't pay our bills. What? It said till death do us part. It was forever. My wife and I got married and laughed about how we're going to be poor together forever. Morning, Bob. Bob, I never got a basketball, so I'm assuming you're sending a bomb. Somebody said they're in Panama. But yeah, the for the record, the people that study fascism have fled. And it's like, yeah, 'cause Donald Trump's gonna fucking have them arrested. Like they just avoided being embarrassed. Like, yeah. And remember, it's not about results with this regime. It's about shock and awe. They're not trying to win. What they're trying to do is throw so much shit at you, you can't possibly keep up, all the while stealing right out from underneath you. The problem is, all that's gonna happen is a bunch of poor people are gonna die. And they know that those people are harmless to them because they have health issues, they're elderly, they probably have nutrition deficiency because they're on SNAP. And I don't know if you've ever met anyone on food stamps. It's not about eating healthy, that's for fucking sure. Somebody said the GOP needs to grow some balls and impeach him. Hey, should have received yesterday. It's probably, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But somebody asked me the other day how I felt about crypto. And I said that it's a scam. Decentralized currency is a scam. This administration being really tied up with crypto should tell you everything you need to know, right? Like whether or not you would invest in crypto, you should think, well, what does Donald Trump think about crypto? Oh, he's all about it? Oh yeah, I'm off that all to fucking together. It's the same thing if Donald Trump was trying to sell you a steak. You would be like, wait a minute, that's a Donald Trump steak? Off it. I don't want nothing to fucking do with that shit, right? So the fact that Donald Trump's enriching himself while in office, which again, understand that past presidents could have enriched themselves while in office. Super off topic. That Annabelle doll is missing. Whose Annabelle doll is missing? What were we talking about? But anyway, people are rowdy and ready to protest, right? Let me explain how rowdy people are, and I'm hoping to that this I want to make friends out of this situation. So, hey, if you're a video gamer, play Battlefront 2, okay? I'm doing it because I'm trying to lead the resistance. Do you get it? Battlefront 2 is a Star Wars game. If you don't like Star Wars, you should watch fucking Star Wars. Holy shit. Star Wars is about grown men breaking generational curses. If you haven't, it's about generational trauma. It's a space western. Most people would fucking love Star Wars if you were just taught you could fucking love anything. You get to choose. You get to choose. Mark Hamill is fucking perfection in white cis male form. He's a good person. So watching him as like a young actor, it's acceptable. You're not like watching someone that you old, or you're like James Earl Jones, right? And there's an order to watch the movies, and there's like 15 fucking movies to watch, and it is a big headspace, okay? But what's important about Star Wars the film is that all of the characters that you grow to love, like Han Solo and Princess Leia, they're part of the I mean, Han Solo is in it for himself, but Princess Leia was the leader of the resistance against the Empire, which was this big, rich, Naziist, real crazy Nazi vibes out of stormtroopers and Darth Vader, right? Yeah, agree. See, the thing about me not being a sexist piece of shit, Zeke, is that when I see a woman's in charge, in my brain, I'm like, finally, and not, oh shit, it's a lady. Tuesday with the holiday. I was worried, Bob. I was thinking it was anthrax. Come on, Bob, that's funny. One of the things that I try to do anytime I recognize that I have like a large group of people watching me is advocate for a healthy lifestyle. So there are about 45 of us between, keep in mind, we co-stream this live on TikTok and YouTube. So for the record, when we get in the unfortunate situation that we get banned from TikTok, we are co-streaming that live on another website. hmm Always have been for over 6 months now. So all of you that try to ruin what we're building know that there are people that want to watch it in landscape and they go to fucking YouTube, and there's people that want to watch me vertically and they're on TikTok. Okay? So one of the things I would recommend doing if you feel like you want to participate in the chat a little more, get a little closer to the host and stuff like that, you can go up to my profile up there and you can go to my YouTube channel. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you'll see that we're also live there. A lot of people like the chat a lot better on YouTube. It's a lot more active. Not that I don't appreciate the shit out of TikTok. I mean, we are getting the message out. But yeah, a lot of people have come along and said like, how do you feel about, for example, this veterans protest on June 14th? This No Kings protest. Okay, and here's what I'll tell you. I am a nobody and I'm fucking okay with this. I've settled with that. I am not a war hero. I was just a lowly lance corporal in the Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war. Okay. I'm not the smartest person that's ever lived. I did study data analytics at Purdue. Mhm. The reason that I don't support a single city protest is the same reason that martial law wouldn't work in the United States. It's too big. It's too many people. Too spread out. Mhm. And also, fucking poor. So what I want to make sure that I keep thinking about is the fact that I make really good money and my wife and I don't have any debt and we're still finding ourselves cash poor. And so I'm thinking about if you make less money than me, which is about probably 10K a month, if you make less than that, how are you doing? Right? So I'm just saying there's a lot of people that couldn't afford to go to Washington, D.C. For a veterans protest. And a lot of veterans are disabled. So a lot of veterans Please, dear God, DN. Please, dear God, I need Neptune. I need Neptune or Skylight to step the fuck up so we can get off of TikTok. I'm for it. The thing that I can't do, you can't put me on a time limit. You got to just let me go. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna talk, I'm just gonna talk. Just gonna talk. But yeah, I'm excited for the Neptune. I'm pissed off Gen Xers. Yeah, hey, good morning. But yeah, a lot of people are asking me, how come you're not out here slinging for this No Kings protest, this veterans protest in Washington, D.C., June 14th? And it's because for me to go to Washington, D.C. and back is a cold $1,000 bill. Do you get it? How the fuck are all these poor disabled veterans supposed to pay to get to DC when most veterans, disabled veterans, they got to live near a big veterans hospital so you can get health care? If you get health care, they could barely walk around downtown Indianapolis, and you want them to fly to DC and participate in you want them to sing for their dinner and also be out of town and down $1,000. Like this sounds like it was set up by the feds. Yeah, I seen it in Kansas City. Disappointing. Dear Neptune. I don't like Mark Zuckerberg either. What does he have to do with Neptune? I don't understand the Annabelle doll missing. I don't get that. But anyway, there's the reason I don't support a single city protest is because you make the people that don't want to see you protest, you make it really easy for them to plan, right, for a counter protest or plan for law enforcement to intervene or ICE to be present, right? And remember, I said I'm just a lowly lance corporal. I just studied data analytics at Purdue, but we live in the digital age where people are fucked up on disinformation and misinformation. And it doesn't, in my opinion, it does not matter how many people show up for that protest on June 14th. It's a bad idea. It should be a nationwide protest, and all they're doing is making it easy for you to become a mark for law enforcement to get plenty of pictures of you and all in one place and see who you do associate and don't associate with. And one of the things about veterans is they're deeply political. Once you get off active duty, you become deeply political. Almost every veteran I know is deeply political. Almost. After you get out, you're not political while you're in. You work for the, you know what I mean? You're defending the Constitution against in this country against all threats, foreign and domestic. Remember, the entirety of the Republican Party and all of their ilk are the benefactors of Russian disinformation and Russian money. So, again, people have asked, as a Marine Corps veteran, as a disabled veteran, how come you're not propping up this protest on June 14th in Washington, D.C.? And that's because I think it should be nationwide. No, I don't. And I think when you bring it up, it's fear mongering. We're no closer to that than we've ever been. People withdraw and add their names to the list of states for constitutional convention. They're not going to do it by gunpoint, that's for fucking sure. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to be like constitutional convention or else change the constitution or else. Like they're not gonna strong arm anybody into doing it. They're just gonna sit and fail. Oh shit. Okay, I'm starting to pick up the Annabelle doll thing. Got it. Got it. A haunted doll. Okay. In my timeline? Okay. Okay. But yeah, yeah, people have been, hey, as someone who has been in politics, like has been listening to this shit my whole life, people do that like every 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're gonna have a constitutional convention. They're gonna change the constitution. Like, no, they're not. They're not. They fucking hate each other. Everybody fucking hates each other and talks shit about each other constantly. And I'm talking about politics. They're no closer. It's just garbage. I hate it. Hmm. I wish they'd try to do some shit. That'd be great. They would find out we don't do kings here. So, and again, there are people that are like, oh my God, it's horrible. Donald Trump's kicking our ass, and it's like he's doing absolutely dog shit. Worst president ever. And every day he wakes up and tops himself as worst president ever because he fucking has to, because he's trying to keep himself out of prison. Because he knows if he were to fucking not do some shit for too long, he's probably getting arrested. We're done compiling evidence. So he basically has to crime all the fucking time. That's I, I'm now enthralled with this Annabelle doll story. Watching going to the 500. I work. So I'm anti-capitalist, and my job is to help people get out of credit card debt and unsecured debt that has high interest that you're trapped under. And I'm gonna spend the next 2 days when everybody else is barbecuing, screaming into the void, stop paying interest today. Stop it. Stop putting all your money into the garbage. You don't fucking need it. You need money in your pocket because you might need to get the gat. You know what I'm saying? You might need to get a vest. You might need to get some camo and some face paint. You might need to hide in a bush for a while. You know what I mean? Like you need to become cash heavy. And fucking fast. How would more crimes delay prosecution? Well, remember, the reason that they don't prosecute sitting presidents is because of a fucking memo. So again, I'm not saying that what Donald Trump is doing makes sense. So by him continuing to crime, that's him thinking like if I just fuck up like every day worse than I did the day before, maybe they won't arrest me. Even I didn't say it made sense. I just said I that's the read I have on Donald J. Trump. Okay? Angie, I am about this fucking energy. This Annabelle doll, I'm about it. I'm pro chaos. I don't know if you figured that out yet. Not governmental chaos. The governmental chaos I could fucking do without. Okay? This Annabelle doll though. I could fucking you could make a TV show off this. I'd watch. The plantation was on fire, Annabelle doll. There's a prison break, 10-minute inmates escape prison doll in LA. And then oh, there are fires in California and there's like a picture of an Annabelle doll. Look fucking doing it. Yeah, so if we see Annabelle doll at the White House, mm. Yeah, worst president ever. Love the horrible commencement speech. What the fuck was that? Oh my God. I am at war with myself. No, I'm at complete peace. I didn't vote for this. So I don't have to put it on other people. I can say I've never called myself a Democrat or Republican in my entire life. Okay? I'm at complete peace here. hmm There's a reason I'm able to get up every day, going on over 6 months. We're almost 7 months on the job, showing up here every day for 90 minutes, talking about the news, so that people have someone out here able to comb through what's been going on and keep you abreast, right? For example, one of the things that we've learned and that I tell my audience every day is listen, I know it feels like Donald Trump is kicking America's ass, but he's getting his ass fucking beat. It's just that all his friends own the news corporations. And so they are all going to put out propaganda that's like Donald Trump's thrashing the fucking White House. Wow! And he's not. He's losing. Like every fucking day. I just want to continue to say that man has passed 5 pieces of legislation over 100 days in office, making him the least effective president ever. Ruling by fiat does not work. We don't do kings here. Guess what? That budget not gonna fucking pass the Senate. It's not gonna happen. Mm-mm. All of those things are gonna get fleshed out into the sunlight. They're gonna bake the shit out of that and make Republicans be like, "You really want this? You really want to kick 500,000 people off their health care?" And understand, as somebody that worked in that industry, normally you would hear people are getting kicked off their health care, and you're like, cha-ching, that's money in the bank. But understand that that's a horrible situation for people that are downgrading their health care. So know that there's a reason I got out of that industry, because the only time you could be happy is when people are in pain. That would be being at war with myself. Hmm. I'm completely at peace. I got people jumping out of their chair to do business with me at work. It's fucking great. I'm like excited to be there. Like, fuck yeah, fuck all these credit card companies. It's awesome. I've never felt a job more with my chest. When I tell people, like, because you know what they do, about 15 minutes into the conversation, they're like, wait a minute, so I don't got to make all these payments anymore. And I'm like, well, how are you doing it? Are you auto pay? And God forbid, somebody on fucking auto pay, talk about poor money management. Auto pay equals poor money management. And then what's even worse is when they don't have auto pay, and then in the back of your mind, like, oh, well, you've got a hobby that you fucking hate, and it's called paying bills. And because that means that you're either on a computer or on the phone manually paying your fucking bills because you are financially savvy. Uh huh. Cash payments only. Yeah. What I fucking hate are the companies that charge you to pay electronically. That's absolutely fucking insane. Yes. So there's a reason that I get on here every day so pissed off, is because I know that there are so many people that haven't really struggled that voted for this, that are gonna go from not fucking struggling to under goddamn water and over fucking night. And there's a reason I've said it doesn't even matter if the fucking budget passes or not. Entire corporations have their budgets due by Q4 for next year, and they can't expect and rely on Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP from the Fed. So they have to plan without that. And I'm just every day get more pissed, where I'm like, look, now small fucking clinics and hospitals, and even medium hospitals that don't have a lot of beds, oh, they're going out of fucking business. They don't make enough money to stay afloat. And that doctor is already overworked in that shithole. So he's going somewhere the fuck else to work. And again, what this does is it concentrates healthcare into big cities, and then you've got all these people that fucking hate people of color. That ain't they don't associate with people of color. And now they got to go into the city and get their healthcare. And guess what? Who works in healthcare? Women, people of color, fucking immigrants. Yo, that's fucking crazy even. Yo, TikTok is wild for this. Even score here says I tried to pay for an iPhone in full at AT&T, and they made me make payments. Cuz here's why. If they don't get a unit sale when you buy it outright, it's one of the ways they keep people in contract, is to for AT&T, for example, to refuse to sell a unit. You know, I grew up in the church. 0 to 18. I was confirmed in the Methodist Church when I was a kid. I used to be really pro Jesus. And so, as someone who used to be pretty devoutly religious, nothing fucking breaks my heart worse than someone saying, God bless Donald Trump. Like, it just pains me to see it. It just pains me to see it, Paul. You have warped your deity, your deities. You've warped them to fit your narrative. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. So it's an awful look. So a lot of people have realized like the news doesn't feel like the news anymore. I'm only really able to. The work sounds like a bunch of people crying on here, and I don't know. You what? Yeah, like when somebody supports Donald Trump and they've got like an American flag. Yeah. That's one of the things they've been saying pretty consistently. If you're going to participate in protests, make sure you take an American flag because the most American thing you can do is boycott, protest, and strike against the king. This is America. We don't do kings here. That's what we also don't do a national religion, by the way. Oh, Debs, it doesn't surprise me at all. All right, Zeke, how is Mint Mobile? You have a peacetime flag. Hmm. I don't know what an American peacetime flag is. Is that the one with the yellow tassels? I just didn't know that was what it's called. If so. Yeah, I have a Verizon and an iPhone. No, it's very different. Wild. I would 1,000% hang my flag upside down if I knew where it was. Yeah, I live in a city, so I'd probably be fine either way. But yeah, that's one of the things I don't understand about Verizon is how the fuck they charge two people $300 a month. It's insane. Like I should be able to take my iPhone, put it on a carrier. I don't talk on the phone. I mean, I use my phone, right? Andy Tellis said you must not filter my water. Nope, definitely filter my water. That's just it's crazy to feel like people are like picking me apart in the comments. Yeah. Some of y'all, it's like I know exactly why you don't have friends. Some of y'all. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I've had Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile. The Sidekick was the best fucking phone design they ever made. They need a modern Sidekick, and Verizon's service is the most reliable. Like, I don't understand the comments that came out of that person. They were so targeted, right? Like, I think he was talking about my job, and he was like, it sounds like people crying. I couldn't do that. And I'm like, I. And then the next thing was like, you must not filter your water. And it was like, based on what? block. I just don't have time for that. Here's the thing. If you want to be my lover, if you want to be my friend, you just gotta be nice. Like, be nice. Like, the agitating me will just make me block you. Who wants that? Oh, somebody somebody said soldiers doing what? Oh, by the way, hey, to the surprise of no one, Donald Trump has not stopped the war in Ukraine, in which in the last 48 hours has seen some of the burp has seen some of the most violence out of Russia here and virtual silence out of this regime to condemn that. I noticed. Slava Ukraine. Hmm. Yeah, you gotta get with my friend. Yeah. So I'm gonna have a good day. I'm gonna have a better day than yesterday, and that's hey, yesterday was pretty kick ass. But today the Pacers play at home up to is that today? Yeah, it's today. Today the Pacers play at home up 2-0. Indy 500. It's Memorial Day. I don't have to go stand out in the outside. Here's the thing about you don't understand about your boy. Okay, I'm fine in my house on my land. You know what I'm saying? I walk my dogs in the morning and we just do perimeter run and they're getting really good at it. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, we're in the time frame of the birth of Ukraine annually, and so that's why Russia's targeting them because it's a time of celebration, obviously. Um, I just want to point out that that cruelty to your neighbor country, um, that's what Donald Trump wants to do here is be cruel to a neighbor country like Canada and Mexico, because he aspires to be like a Vladimir Putin. So it's not just that they're friends; he sees them as inspiration. Hmm. Same thing with Bibi and all the horrible things that the IDF does to all the women and children in Gaza. They do that shit. Israel does that shit, and then Donald Trump dreams of doing that to American citizens. So there's a reason that I got on here today all pissed off and was like, I'm not supporting a Washington, D.C. protest on June 14th called the No Kings protest for veterans. Why? Because I think it should be fucking nationwide. I think you should make it very difficult for the people that want to oppress you to fucking stop you. They can't stop you when you're nationwide. They can show up and plan and coordinate to stop you in one city. And if you think I think at some point Donald Trump's going to realize the military's not his muscle, and he's going to start using his muscle to interfere in protest. And there's a reason that I've said I think that single city protest there in Washington, D.C. is troublesome. I feel like it would be better suited nationwide. Well, I hope you have a better day today, Cease. One foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Okay. Slava Ukraine, Free Palestine. You notice that I can say these things and it has absolutely no impact on like the rest of my day because it's not like I'm supporting fucking terrorism, right? I just I just think that violence is a sign of weakness, a show of force, a sign of weakness, actually. When you're typically think about it, when people lash out, it's not because they're strong. It's not because they know what they're doing. So yeah, you're gonna notice, for example, and I'm saying it mostly to be funny, not because like I want it, But if you look at like our news here, the main news subreddit, right? And there's a world news too, so don't get it like I'm trying to sell you on our news. I think there's a our world news. Maybe not, but I also like uplifting news. Okay. Because you got to have some positivity, otherwise you're gonna have a fucking meltdown. Crying, blowing bubbles in your Cheerios and shit, snotting everywhere. Along the line, I just realized that, it's a great thing to do along the lines of delete Facebook threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, try to use Amazon less. Put your fucking phone down. Go outside and touch some grass. You know, it's one of the things that I've started to do every day, and you should see the behavior change in my dogs is get up and take them out on a walk in the morning. Like, make it fucking happen. And they are completely different animals. They act completely different towards me, and their behavior is completely different. And it's not that they weren't being walked, it's that we were lazy about this. And now it's like, no, first thing I do when I get up in the morning, these dogs are fucking freaking out. Let's go. And I'm like, oh, hey, it's our house. Let's go. Right. And again, it has a lot to do with the same thing with like wearing a Marine Corps hat, walking their fucking dogs outside and shit. It's a matter of like pride. I didn't do anything wrong. I know that I wake up every day and I do the right thing all day, every day. And sitting on this show and talking about the news is a reward to me, right? Yeah, I talked about how fucking depressing it was that the president of the United States wore a fucking MAGA hat to West Point. And go figure, he spoke at a fucking army graduation. Fuck the army. They're responsible for this shit. Tulsi Gabbard, Robert Flynn, all the shitbirds that I know in real world, army. All that ain't ready for the fucking Marines yet. So fucking embarrassing. I hope his his parade is tiny. That's what I hope. I hope that parade's a little bitty. I hope it gets fucking dwarfed. That I can get behind. So if there's someone out there wants to talk some sense into me and be like, Jared, the No Kings protest is a direct counter protest to Donald Trump. And it's like, well, then it shouldn't be veterans only then. It should be an open protest. Everybody fucking show up and fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not in fucking charge. I'm just, I'm some random dude. And hey, look out. There's a fucking comment, you know? Except that comment's like this fat white boy from South Florida that sucks at golf, by the way. It costs us like $3.4 million dollars every time that asshole plays a round of golf for him to shank the shit out of that shit. Like I hate golf with a fire of a thousand suns. I'm a better golfer than the president of the United States, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. I want to watch the president hit a shot and him be good for all the time and money he fucking spends on a goddamn golf course and has done for his whole fucking life. And that motherfucker is hitting a 70-degree slice. Get the fuck out of here. I can hit that shit. You know what I'm saying? But my dad was physically violent. So my dad was the kind of guy to hit me with a golf club while I'm trying to swing, right? Because I bent my knee or some shit, right? So there's a reason I don't like golf. And it's because that was another one of those places where it was really quiet. And then all of a sudden my dad would run me the fuck over and be like, what the fuck are you doing dicking around on a golf course? And you're like, yeah, I don't think I like this shit. That was my rant about golf and how I cannot believe we pay millions of dollars a day and it ain't for golf lessons because that motherfucker needs to learn how to golf. Like, how can you be president with a slice like that? You know what I'm saying? How can you be in business with a fucking slice like that? Hey, listen, I have gone and hit golf balls with people in order to do business with them, and the shank sets the deal up for failure. Okay? That shit, you got to hit it straight and long. And when you don't do that, the guy that you just spent $4,000 to fucking involve in your company is going to look at you and be like, "Are you sure you're the guy for the job? You shankopotamus." By the way, if you aren't laughing, I think that was like the best 3 minutes of the show so far, and that's because you hate golf too. Okay. You know what golf courses would be fantastic at? Providing housing for homeless people. I think we should just do that. What if we played urban golf and made the golf courses into housing? That's what I think of golf and golf courses. You know, when I see a golf course, do you know what I think? What an astounding waste of water, actually. Yeah. Oh my God, Ange, have you not seen the video of the President of the United States shooting a fucking. This is a 30-yard flop chip shot that I have made a zillion goddamn times. Okay, and I fucking hate golf. I fucking hate golf, and I can get it within 7 feet of the fucking pin from 30 yards out with a flop wedge on your mama's grave. Understand that, okay? And I fucking hate golf, okay? So to watch the president of the United States, first of all, he took a three-quarter fucking swing on a 30-yard flop, you clown ass bitch. And then when the ball made contact, the face was wide the fuck open, and it was like he was swinging at a low baseball pitch. And you're like, no, clown ass. That's the president. That guy, oh, kill me. That shit went, that shit went 230 instead of fucking 0 degrees. That shit, almost a 90-degree fucking shank. It was the worst. And I was like, all that money and all those people, and not a single person was like, Don, maybe we should hit a bucket of balls before we go out so we have our shit together so we don't look like a fucking moron, right? And then, you know what else I've realized? How little golf I've seen Donnie play in his whole life. And I remember I have also seen a video of Donald Trump cheating at fucking golf. So not only is he ass, and again, terrible fucking president, traitor, grifter, all those fucking things. He's all that. He's also like, ugh, like the lowest rung on the athletic pole is cheats at golf, shanks some shit, thinks that he's an athlete. Like, he's the only president of the United States ever to have to wear shirt stays and the body slimming. You know what I'm talking about? Like the t-shirt that you put over yourself that like sucks it all in for you. Yeah, he has to wear that. He has to wear shirt stays, sock stays, and he has to wear the same suit over and over again because he shits his pants all the time. I just want to point out that guy is the president of the United States. Also, fucking awful at golf. hmm Awful. Like, I'm not talking about, oh, some time on the range and he'll be fine. I'm talking like he's the worst I've ever seen get out of a golf cart and walk to a ball. Yeah, they say money can't make you happy. Those people are goddamn liars. One of my comments said, Jared, you look great. Looks like you've lost weight since I first started watching you. And I said, well, they say money can't make you happy, and they're goddamn liars. So there's a reason I advocate for there's a reason I advocate for um, universal income is because y'all don't get paid like I do now, and he had shit stains on his pants and a golf course. Yes, I had one of my clients yesterday, by the way, a teacher with like $60,000 in fucking credit card debt, sign up for my shit, and she said, "You sound so like confident. I couldn't do this. I would be so nervous to tell people to stop paying their credit cards." And I said, "What are they gonna do? Send the Pinkertons?" If you don't know who the Pinkertons is, just fucking let that one go right by you. I'm like, who the fuck is that? They're a form of private police that corporations use to bully people. You know, like the streamers that you watch that do product reveals and reviews and shit. Sometimes they'll get sent stuff they're not supposed to have. His girdle. I still can't. My brain is thinking about Donald Trump getting dressed in the morning, especially to go play golf. And it's like, that fat ass can't do all that himself. So that motherfucker not only has to have somebody wipe his fucking ass, but they got to get that all put together. And again, you understand why his circle is dumbass small. And it's because those are the people that were willing to change him out of his dirty diaper like he's a little baby. Think about it. If you're Hegseth, you could just get fucking really drunk and pretend like it's you're just changing a kid's diaper or whatever. And look at Pam Bondi. You think that bitch ain't changing fucking floppy nutsack sweaty diapers from old Donny Boy? Get the fuck out of here. What do you think she's good for? That what's that other lady's name? What's the other blonde lady's name that wears the cross every day? That every day I swear to God that shit's gonna catch on fire, turn to ash, and the smoke's just gonna like go right up her nose while she's doing her. What's that lady's name? Caitlyn or whatever the fuck. That girl. Oh my God. You know she's put her nose in his grundle. That's why it's stuck up like that forever. And then who else? Oh my God. Like Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, they tag team old Donny Boy when they gotta change his diaper. You can totally tell neither of them could handle it on their own. See, you're just see what I'm doing is lying. KKK Caroline, that's right. That's why her nose is all up because she's had her nose in his grundle. And then she's going to say he's a great golfer. Oh my God, Bob. He stands straight up. He sways to and fro. You can't do that. You got to stand still. You have a wide athletic base, right? You got to keep your head down and on the ball. I actually know how to fucking golf. I just fucking hate golf. Anything but golf, dear God. That's that's how I feel about sports and also NASCAR. So I am a redneck hater. If you haven't figured that out, yeah, I don't even really like baseball. I like live baseball. I'm a football, basketball, wrestling, track. I love watching track and field. Great. That's awesome. And you go to one event and watch multiple sports get played in one day, and it's quiet. Usually, ain't that many people there. hmm It's completely opposite of most other sports, but it's like tons of people always fucking screaming at you. Yes, Lissandra Vasquez. She's incredibly talented. She at some stages it's like art becomes reality and like she's crossing that threshold at some stages where you're like, holy shit, Lissandra Vasquez has become like Caroline Levitt's, I wouldn't say alter ego. she's become Carolyn Levitt. I don't even watch Carolyn Levitt. I just watch Vasquez, and I'm like, she's. I mean, she's saying the same thing. It's like I can actually understand Vasquez because that shit was like written and practiced and rehearsed and shit. And like, I don't know what the fuck Carolyn Levitt's doing. Bob said it, and it's another left turn. Yeah. Don't get it twisted, Bob. There are a few courses in NASCAR that I will watch, like Watkins Glen. That's fucking racing. Okay. Uh, but the thing about NASCAR that I hate to tell you is that it's the most boring form of racing. Do you know what's way more exciting than hours and hours and hours of turning left? Drag racing. Quarter mile at a time, just like Vin Diesel said, right? And your shit is over. It's over. That shit ended. You know what's fantastic about drag racing? And growing up my whole life around IRP and fucking Brown County and what is that place called in Ohio? Hidden Valley, I think. He said speed racing. Drag racing. Yeah, usually it's over at the launch. So, one of the reasons that I want to coach football and track is because I want to explain that my family grew up drag racing. And in fact, my brother and I were part of the junior NHRA. And we were part of the pilot program. So, my brother was like 8 or 9 years old, and your boy was like 12 when we started drag racing. And the cars are all normalized. So you bracket race, meaning the cars are underpowered, they all go about the same speed. And so what the tower's job to do is use a computer so that you leave at different intervals and arrive at the finish line at the same time. But what we find out when everything's normalized and you're just doing bracket racing, how do you win when your car's going to do the same fucking thing? It's a mower. It's going to do the same thing. 1190 every fucking eighth mile, right? But it's over at the launch. It's all about your reaction. And your boy, absolutely fucking nuts on a tree. I'm a big goddamn person, so that made my vehicle less consistent, so it's kind of depressing. But regularly like 50 lights, not 500, that would be lying, but like 507, 505. That was me. And my brother, who's still fucking drag races, is terrible, but he's a little guy, so he could fucking race forever, and his car will make up for the fact that he ain't as good as I am on the tree. I'm just 6'4", 300 fucking pounds, built like a brick shithouse. But yeah, you want an exciting fucking weekend? Drag racing is the shit. Not NASCAR. It's ass. I mean, road racing, I can get an F1 is great because they can do F1 in the rain because of the low drag coefficient. The low profile of those F1 cars, they like stick to the ground. So you can drive those in the rain. They don't squirrel around as much. That shit's exciting because it's science. There's not as much science in turn left. My dad did drag racing a 57 Chevy and a Chevy 2 Nova. Now you're speaking my fucking language, Bob. So my dad and I rebuilt a 1955 Chevy Bel Air. We bought it for, I think we bought that for like $6,000. It was in pretty bad shape, and we sold it. A guy gave us 45,000 for it. Pearl white, and that deep red on the two tone. It was a sexy fucking 55 Chevy. And then the project before that was my dad's personal 1966 Plymouth Barracuda. Sick car. It's just the problem is it sits too tall. It's gonna throw your transmission when it bounces off the pavement when you slam on a gas and that thing stands straight the fuck up. That's why he wanted it, is because you can stand up a fucking Nova. You can put enough power down to stand that bitch up. But it sits so tall that it like keeps wanting to go. That's why he never raced it, because he's fucking chicken shit. My brother is not chicken shit. My brother would be like, "Oh, it's got a gas pedal, floorboard. Let's see what that does." And so after the mini dragsters, my brother, when he turned 16, he started drag racing a John Deere themed S10 with a massive engine in it. That thing was fast as hell. Cece said she used to have a 1977 Camaro. What color? My first car was a 88 Mustang. Not a GT. It wasn't a GT. It wasn't a 50. It didn't have the badges. I think it had the motor, but the guy built a sleeper. It did have a unique paint and it had tint and it was debadged, but it definitely had a 5-liter V8 in it. And I couldn't keep a clutch in that fucking thing. It was a manual and I was 16 and I was this cocky. And my family drag raced. Bitch, please. Gold brown. Love it. That's a great color. I love brown. I just ordered brown dunks. And I just got the a brown sweatsuit. A brown Jordan sweatsuit. hmm Like white and brown and black dunks. Hey, Bob had a 1980 Camaro. I knew Bob had a cool car. That was coming. Yep, I had a Mustang. I had that thing until the clutch blew out. I drove a 84 Camaro, a red one with gold trim, black seats with red piping. That shit was hot in the summer. You had a 72 Oldsmobile. Yeah, you did. And then the first car, my dad bought me a white S10 when I became an Eagle Scout. Um, I put a body kit on it, that extreme kit I got. Put a sound system in it. That was a nice little pickup truck. It wasn't fast. It just had a little 4-speed automatic in it. A little nothing motor. It was reliable, but that was the car that I got hit by a semi in, the S10. And then for that I got a Honda Civic, an '04 Honda Civic, black on black on black. Black paint, black tint, black wheels. Had every bolt on I could buy. It had a sport header. It had, I think I didn't touch the clutch. I know I had intake. I know I had full exhaust. But and it was mostly just a show car. It was just a really clean, quiet car. It had the baffle on the exhaust. So the only time you got throat out of it was when you punch it. But other than that, it rode actually quiet. It was a sleeper car. In fact, you'd actually want to take the punch out of the exhaust if you want to go fast. Because I'm pretty sure you want exhaust air out of your motor. You don't want to bottle that up. Yeah, but capitalism is what kept us from being able to do shit with our cars. The rising cost of fucking goods. Second car was a '85 Chevy Citation. Now I gotta look that up. I've never heard of a 1985. Here we are talking about cars on a show about politics, huh? 1985 Chevy Citation. If you have no flavor, clearly you're made by a white person. You know what I mean? So talking cars and shit. Hey, that Citation wasn't bad. Look, that Chevy Citation, it looks like the starter vehicle in a racing video game. She's got a '07 Malibu. Of course you do, CC. That's the most CC vehicle ever. What color is your boo? Is iOS. Yeah, I was saying Malibu is like a sedan with plenty of room. I wasn't being a dick. I used to work. I used to sell cars. I grew up on cars. Yeah, I like Impalas too. They're big inside. I like the. Is it? I'm trying to remember the vehicle. What's the vehicle that has the air suspension? Is that a Oldsmobile Cutlass? Feels like you're driving a boat. I like those cars. Right, I'm pretty sure. What was the old what were the old cars? Classic car with air ride. I think it was I know the Bel Air had an air ride suspension. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's hot. That's hot. I want that. I want that. I want this. Somebody said in he even said NASCAR drivers turning left for 3 days. They literally do because they gotta like practice and qualify and then race. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? You get out and you're like, I'm a leftist. You know what I mean? Like all I do is turn left. Uh man, I'm in a mood today. I analogy is the same as your my analogy is the same as yours, period. What a black? I don't what'd you say? Oldsmobiles were awesome cars. Produced from 1897 until old oh 04. One of the first organized manufacturers of automobiles. The Oldsmobile 442. One of the more popular Oldsmobiles. Oh yeah. Oldsmobile Cutlass. Mm-hmm. Oldsmobile 442 two-door. Yep. The Holiday Coupe. Yep. I know what we're talking about. Cars are badass. But yeah, long story short, fortunately, those are phases where I was like car obsessed. Same thing about pew pews. I used to be one of them kids that's obsessed with that shit, but now I would rather be at home with my dogs and my wife. No, no, no. Never been on a cruise ship. I don't I was already on a fucking boat, cramped on a boat with a bunch of people. I ain't trying to do that. You couldn't with COVID, couldn't get me to do that. You couldn't pay me to go on a cruise. Literally, couldn't pay me. Wouldn't go. Don't have time off. Ain't paying to myself. I'm like, I just rather work. I'd rather work than get COVID. Yeah, turning left made a joke. Yeah, you kept swaying because you just got off at a cruise ship. Yeah. Again, the news is gonna be a little slower. It's Sunday. It's Memorial Day. I told our Discord to relax. He'll be back early next week, ruining our lives. But yeah, yeah. I don't know if you saw this. So North Korea, this was in the this I just shared an article from AP, okay? That's Associated Press, okay? North Korea was launching uh, a naval destroyer. Meaning that's the part where you like slide it off the land into the water and shit. And it capsized and sunk. This is good. North Korea is not our ally. Anything that happens that doesn't facilitate their wartime readiness is net positive for us, right? South Korea is our fucking ally. So when North Korea goes to launch a boat and it fails, it's important because they had to detain three of their military personnel, shipyard officials, over the failed launch of a naval destroyer. So I know it's not fun to dance on those three people's lives are probably over, but the fact that it's, you know, a net negative to someone that I would not consider an ally of the United States. Oh, I just had this thought cross my mind. All these people that have a great deal of money and power that are willing to sacrifice everyone else for themselves. The reason that they're so evil and that they would go so far as to get us into another world war are only doing these things because otherwise they have no legacy. When they die, people just forget about them. And again, I have a feeling that there's a lot of men in the United States that have recently realized that you have no fucking legacy. When you die, you're going to be forgotten, just like everybody else. And so there's a lot of people in the world, specifically like the rich people in the world, that were like, oh, yeah, well, they're going to remember me. I'm going to be as cruel as possible and hoard as much wealth as possible and concentrate as much power as possible among my also rich friends. And we're going to rule the world together. By the way, that's what your oppressors think that they're doing, having passed fuck all for legislation. But they are threatening to kick, you know, 100 million people off their benefits in the United States. Like one out of every three or four people. Mhm. So remember this little bit of a reprieve that we're getting? I would call today, tomorrow, like a little bit of a reprieve where there won't be enough really going on for Donald Trump to fuck up your weekend much more than he already has. Okay. Tax the churches. Zeke said being forgotten is not so bad, going back into nothingness. That's what I'm saying. I say it all the time. I'm a nobody. I am, I'm nothing, right? I've settled with that. From ash I came, to ash I will return, right? But the powers that be, the people that are oppressing you, they've had the same harsh realization that all of this that I have accomplished, and when I die, I'm nothing. And they want to force people to remember them. And the only way they can do it is to be cruel. Because remember, when it comes to the Democratic Party, they have like a priority list, right? People, yeah, people in the Democratic Party, you got to do your time, right? Zeke said, "The earth provided my meals. It's only fair I become the earth's meal when it's my time." Again, as I've said, from ash you came, to ash you return. I'd prefer if we didn't keep burying ourselves. It's not good for the environment. Should just get cremated. Don't get out of the way. You know, one of the biggest problems with climate change that we're going to have to discuss as we get older is what happens when the lower third of the United States is constantly flooded. What do you think will happen to all the people that are buried just a few feet from the surface when that entire southern third of the United States gets put underwater? What do you think's going to happen to all those coffins? I'm just asking. What do you think's going to happen to all those coffins when climate change eradicates a third of the southern coast? That's right. Places become unlivable because of what happens when you unearth caskets en masse, disease and all kinds of shit, and places just become unlivable. Oh yeah, that's a real nightmare for the South, and that's just going to happen. Probably won't be in my lifetime, hmm but you never really know with the with climate change the way it is. But they're gonna float up to the surface. hmm Because remember, when they put you in that coffin, they've drained you. You have no fluid in you. You're just bones, which are dense. That box is not full, dense, not dense. So you're just gonna float as the earth erodes around your around your coffin. hmm So it's much wiser to be cremated and not be awful for other people post mortem, right? It's like you die and then you fuck whole people's lives up. Just go away. From ashes you came, to ashes you will return, right? But again, I think people that want to be buried have a sense of self-importance, right? It's your choice, but if you know, because I just told you, knowing that climate change is going to flood and is going to raise the sea level in the southern third of the United States. One day, part of the reason you won't be able to visit some places in the South is because there's coffins floating around everywhere. It's morbid, it's grotesque, and it also is riddling that area with disease. hmm Floating in the water. hmm They whole parts of the South will be just can't go there. Coffin town, right? And I'm not being like funny. It's just facts. For hundreds and hundreds of years, we buried our bodies in caskets, and in the South, especially, they are notorious for not burying people far enough down. And again, what do you think happens when an area floods and it's just flooded for a long fucking time? Yeah, all the soil erodes from around those hollow fucking boxes and they float up to the top. And again, that just means disease. So that just makes whole areas just you don't want to fucking live here because every time it rains, every time the tide comes in, you're a coffin's floating up to your door, right? Nobody's gonna want to fucking live there. And again, I didn't want to say Louisiana, but Louisiana is fucking notorious for shallow graves. hmm Yup. Somebody said it'll look like the Poltergeist movie pool. Yes. Yes. Cremation for me. Yeah. If you make it that far, you know what I mean? All right, kids. It's 9:30. I did my time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. People like your time. What? I thought you loved us. Bob said more waterfront property, huh? Yeah, Bob, that's what I was saying. Mm, yep. It ought to get cheap. They'll be giving this shit away. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You could totally live here. Don't worry about that low-lying, shitty-looking wood fence. Never mind what's in that area. Oh, the Annabelle doll. Yes, thank you for the reminder. I gotta check that out. That's too funny. Too funny. I need that chaos doll. I need it. All right. A little bit of eat the rich, a little bit of I'm gonna get out of here, hang out with the wife and the dogs. I gotta go to work. Okay. Thanks, Key. See you, Bob. That was funny, Bob. You, Bob, I'm concerned you're sending me anthrax. He's like, you should get that today. You're like, what, anthrax or the ball? All right.